A toast to the hunters from your friends at Grainbelt. May the mornings be clear and the fresh air be crisp. May you find solace in the silence. May the stillness settle your soul. May your long shots stay true. May your heart roam free. May you find what you seek in the fields you stalk. May your call to the wild be answered, and at the end of the day, may you share in the thrill of the hunt with your friends. So here's to the 8-pointers and the 12-ouncers. Here's to you and to your thirst for adventure. Bring Grainbelt to the outdoors with our limited edition premium hunting season pack. This season, enter to win a hunting trip for 2 to Brown's Hunting Lodge, wherever you can find premium 12 and 24-pack cans. For more information, visit our website at grainbelt.com/hunting-trip.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Minnesota Bound podcast, the stories behind the stories. I'm Laura Schara, your host for today, and I'm really excited about our next guest on the podcast. Brett Winterbottom is an instructor and senior glacier guide of Mica Guides on the Matanuska Glacier in Alaska. And Dan and I adventured out to not only ice climb and adventure around the glacier for 6 hours, but we also spent the night on the glacier. Brett, welcome to the Minnesota Bound podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's so fun to connect with you again. We had literally a life-changing experience on the glacier with you.
Oh man, I love to hear that.
Well, it was. I mean, well, we should just start from where we were, first of all, so our listeners can know. Dan and I decided to take a summer epic adventure, and part of my passions I think we share with you, Brett, is I love to try new outdoor adventures every summer. So some of my adventures in the past were doing some pretty intense horseback riding in Wyoming, where we were staying at 10,000 feet, and we're doing some fly fishing for trout, but riding some pretty intense terrain. We also went fishing for white sturgeon this past summer. And part of our outdoor adventure for the summer, was meeting you at the Matanuska, I believe, am I saying it right? Matanuska Glacier?
Yeah, the Matanuska.
Matanuska
You can
Glacier.
just we call it the Mat, the Mat.
The Mat, okay. That's cool. It has a nickname. In Alaska, and it's located about, how far is it? Like 2.5 hours from Anchorage, approximately?
Yeah, just about 2 hours from Anchorage, just to the east up the Glen Highway.
Yes. So I kind of landed, we're digging around trying to figure out what we were going to do in Alaska. And, we originally started looking at an Alaska cruise, because Alaska, of course, is so big. And you want to see as much of it as you possibly can. And some of these excursions that they had on the cruise looked great, but I felt like it just wasn't going to be enough. It wasn't going to be adventurous enough. It wasn't going to be life-changing enough to go on these, kind of simple excursions. So when I landed on Mica Guides' page and saw that you guys offer glacier tours, ice climbing, and then also glamping overnight on the glacier, I was like, okay, this sounds pretty epic. So kind of explain, before we get into your story and how you landed in Alaska, and that, you're the manager and you run Mica Guides and all the guiding, et cetera. But talk about what Mica Guides offers as far as an experience, because it's pretty epic.
Right. Yeah. So like you said, there's a lot of simple tourist activities around Alaska. And we could be categorized in that. We do have the option for just your most casual tour, which is trekking out on the glacier. You go for a little walk around, you get to learn some about the glacier, take cool pictures. But what we really specialize in is giving people a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So taking people out on the Matanuska for a full day and doing what we call the advanced trek or the ice climb, and really letting people get to know the glacier for an entire day. So taking people out on the mat and just really showing them how special a glacier is, from the micro, tiny little features, the dust that's inside the glacier, all the way just to the grandeur of the entire thing, like the big picture view.
So, and the different options, and we're going to get into some of the, just explaining, geographically, like what the glacier is all about, because there's so many interesting things happening on the glacier that you would never know until you take this tour. But as far as like the different adventures, you have, as you mentioned, kind of a simple tour, but you also offer, and this is what Dan and I chose to do, it's called the Ultimate Heli Adventure.
Yes.
And this is where your transportation, or your Uber, as I called it, from base camp, which is off the highway on your way out of Anchorage, is a helicopter.
Yes.
And you take a helicopter to base camp and they drop you off. And it's like you feel like you're being transported really to a different planet when they drop you off, because the temperature difference from base camp to the glacier it's pretty significant. What do you think the temperature difference is? 20 degrees, 15
probably
degrees?
10, 15 degrees. And it's crazy, right? You step out and all of a sudden you feel like you're on an ice cube, and you would think it'd be obvious, but the sun can be out and it can be 80 degrees, and all of a sudden you got a nice cool breeze coming at you. And you're like, whoa, where am I? Where did I just land? It's a little Disneyland-esque when you first get out.
It is. And it's almost Star Wars-esque. Like you feel like they may have filmed like a Star Wars movie out there. It's so incredible when you get off the helicopter, and then the helicopter leaves and you realize you're spending the night on this chunk of ice, with nobody around, which is great because you're well taken care of. But the beauty of the glacier, and it's so massive. So the glacier itself it's 27 miles long and 4 miles wide. Is that correct?
You got it. Yep.
I have my stats written down, or I have my stats down right. So, and then talk about the glacier itself. So when we started exploring, because we did the ultimate heli adventure, that means that Brett was with Dan and I all day. So it was the three of us along with David. We brought a photographer, and you guys are obviously very experienced climbers. And I will say that safety is the number one most important feature that you guys take care of when you're out on the glacier, because it can be a dangerous situation. But let's talk about the glacier, because the first thing you told us, it was a warm glacier, and I'd never heard that phrase before. What does that mean?
Right. Oh yeah. Well, so there's a hot glacier and a cold glacier. Hot glaciers are any glaciers that are in a temperate environment. So, somewhere on Earth that gets above freezing, and, the snow can melt off, and then eventually the ice is exposed to warm air, right? So the Matanuska Glacier, where it terminates, is at about 1,200 feet elevation, and the air temp can get anywhere between, 60 to 80 degrees in the summer. So it allows that glacier to melt super fast. The surface is always melting down. Whereas a cold glacier is going to be more like an ice sheet, something that mainly just accumulates snow and barely melts. It'll melt, but very slowly compared to the amount of snow that it accumulates. So those like Greenland ice, the ice sheet in Greenland, anywhere in the Arctic, Antarctica, those are going to be your cold glaciers. Those are the ones that are like hundreds of thousands of years old.
Okay. And how old is this glacier approximately?
Well, it's been around for a long time. Its last glacial maximum was about 200,000 years ago. The ice that we were hanging out and playing on is only about 500 years old. So it's really just 500 years pre-industrial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when he was talking about it's a warm glacier, and you step out on the glacier and you do hear this like roaring water underneath you almost all day long. And you do, in fact, as you're touring the ice with crampons on your boots that are these sharp, spiky things that go on your boots, you hear the rush of this water everywhere, and you actually get to see quite a few waterfalls. And then what is the other term that I'm forgetting the name of it that we were saying all over the place?
The Moulins?
Yes, the Moulins. Yes. There we go. Yes. Explain what those are, because those are so cool.
Right. So we're on a hot glacier, right? Or a temperate glacier that is melting constantly. Every square inch of this entire thing is melting all day long. And what it does is it makes these little streams, and water's always finding the path of least resistance, carving out these incredible little miniature canyons all the way to 100-foot tall canyon walls. And eventually, when that water hits a low point and it can't go any farther down glacier, it will begin to drill or mill, which moulin in French means to mill. It'll start drilling this hole into the ice and actually just creating a vertical shaft straight into the glacier. And then once it becomes a deep enough hole, the water will then start kind of carving horizontally, and it'll create these subsidiary like drainage systems that allow water to go from the surface of the glacier where we were 6 miles up all the way to the terminus and then out into the river.
And some of these moulins, like they start, as he had mentioned, it's like curving these walls, so it looks like you're looking at a bobsledding track in a way.
Oh man, they are the most incredible sculpted masterpieces that you'll ever see. Not only the color, that deep blue color that we saw, but
yes,
the perfect sculpted lines, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger every day. And yeah, we get to access them using all the ropes and do it as safe as you can possibly do it.
And that you don't, until you visually step on the glacier and you start seeing the glacier pools and the blue color. It is like, I was looking around, I'm like, this is definitely a hashtag no filter situation. Like the blue is so blue, like nothing you've ever seen before.
I always make a joke that, you can't take the blue with you. There's
exactly,
something
you want to.
Yeah. Like how people harvest diamonds and gold. You want to take that, like a chunk of blue glacier with you, but you just can't do it.
No.
Yeah. And so the best thing you can do is get as deep inside the glacier as you can and just soak it up, enjoy it.
And if you're curious about what this glacier looks like and you want to kind of see a little bit more visual, I of course posted some stuff on my social media, but also on micaguides.com, and it's MICA guides.com. They have quite a few videos and visuals to see what Brett is talking about in regards to some of the moulins and the glacier itself. But one of the other thing that was really fascinating is there is this black like sand or grit that is all over the glacier, and you think it is sand or it's dirt, but in fact the power of the glacier, as you had told us, is that it had crushed massive rocks and boulders, and by the time it gets all the way down, it's this black sand.
So it's called moraine is what you're talking about.
Yes.
Moraine.
See, I can't remember all the technical terms. This is why
that's all right.
We need you around, Brett.
Thanks. I've got a purpose.
Yes. Explain what the sand is on it.
So moraine, again, it's a French term. Most glacial terms are French. Moraine is like so the original like mountaineers were the British. The first like guides were British. So they were the first ones to kind of adventure into the mountains in Europe. But then the French were really the first that really did a lot of traversing and moving through glaciated terrain. And they, instead of naming it, like just giving it a random name, they were describing the process. So, moulin means to mill or drill. Moraine actually means to whip. So it's like they were trying to describe what they thought the glacier was doing to the terrain around them. A crevasse it means to split or to crack. So it's not the same as a crevice. It's actually an action. It's not an object.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I forgot to describe moraine.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so it's kind of like this crushed. It looks like sand, really, but it's all black. Yeah.
Well, and it'll depend. If you go to glaciers in Chile, it's going to be granite, and it'll be more of a gray and like sparkly color. Whereas we have a lot of slate in the Chugach, and so we get a lot of darker rock that's ground up.
Very cool. And one other thing that I thought was super fascinating was the fact that algae can grow on a glacier. Because nothing's growing on a glacier.
Yeah. Well, so there's algae and then there's moss, which is cool. The moss is a very particular type of moss. I actually haven't found any research done on it, but I think the same moss that like thrives in permafrost areas, so really cold regions in Alaska, I think it thrives on the glacier because it's, adapted to living in a cold, wet environment. But yeah, I can't remember. Did we find a big moss ball?
No, we just found those pockets in there, like cryonites, or what did you call them?
Oh, the cryocanites.
Cryocanites.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I forgot. I totally forgot. The algae started growing out of the cryocanites by that point. That one is still a mystery to me. That looks like aliens growing out of the glacier,
So, as Brett mentioned, the glacier's kind of obviously always melting, and it creates these little holes and pockets of water. And inside these pockets of water, is black algae that somehow grows in this frozen water. And
It's
it's
a true
rather bizarre.
mystery.
Yes. But the fact
Actually,
that sorry, go ahead.
I've looked. I do a lot of internet searches and trying to find answers, and that one has not been researched yet. I haven't found anyone that has studied the algae inside cryoconite pockets. So,
really,
if you're out there and you're interested in cryoconites and glaciers, let me know.
Yes, we need some research dollars going towards this because it is super strange.
Yeah, there's something to know about it.
Totally. Like, who knows what they're going to find? Maybe that's like where some sort of species came from, was from a cryoconite.
That's the cure to cancer in there. That's
yeah, exactly. There we go.
Our good friends at Kinetico. You know how much the Shirk family loves Kinetico water. We have it in our home, and now we've added it to our cabin life. And oh, what a difference it makes. You know, for as long as I can remember, we've dealt with that cabin water, that stinky, foul well water. After a painless 4-hour installation, we now have Kinetico soft water and also Kinetico's K5 drinking system. No more bottled water to try and make coffee in the morning. It's great drinking water right out of the K5 tap. Our laundry no longer smells funny, and Kinetico water cleaned up both our showers and the kitchen dishes. The world's most efficient, worry-free water system. Visit Kinetico.com to find a dealer near you and join the Kinetico family.
Did you know that a propane gas furnace lifespan averages 20 years while electric heat pumps only last about 14 years? And propane furnaces work in all temperatures while delivering warm and consistent heat in your home. Why buy 2 heating systems when propane furnace can do it all? Lasts longer, works better, and costs less. These things and more are being done today with propane, the right energy right now.
Hewitt Docks, Lifts, and Pontoon Legs began in a small south-central Minnesota town with a mission to make dock install and removal easier by inventing the Roll-A-Dock. Well, now the company has evolved to provide everything you might need to improve your lake time. In addition to the classic Roll-A-Dock or the new Ultra Dock system, Hewitt offers all-terrain staircases, gangways, canopies, and lifts, along with any accessory you might need. Celebrate 50 years of business with us. Go to HewittRad.com to enter for a chance to win a free dock and monthly prizes. Hewitt Docks, Lifts, and Pontoon Legs. Work hard, play harder. You deserve a Hewitt.
So, part of the glacier experience, again with Mica Guides in outside of Anchorage, Alaska, is this opportunity to spend the night on the glacier. And what is so cool is that you guys provide this glamping experience where, again, they drop you off via helicopter. The helicopter departs, and you have the opportunity to spend all day with a guide. And really, each day that you go out, it's never the same. Each tour is different. It's day by day. You decide where you're going to go on the glacier, and it also depends on people's athletic abilities. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it. And you call it, like you said, it's called the ultimate that we go out on. And the reason we came up with the ultimate is that everyone's definition of what is ultimate is different. And that's what's beautiful about the glacier is we could do something super extreme. Like we ran around, we covered some miles. We used the rope probably 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, we did.
And there's been ultimates, a full day, 8-hour ultimate where we've putzed around, looked at really cool stuff, didn't even use the rope, set up a picnic, and just had a beautiful day enjoying the scenery. So it's so customizable that it really is an adventure for everyone.
It is. Yeah, it is really cool. And I, when people were really fascinated when I started posting pictures and videos of this glacier adventure, I have since had a lot of questions about it. People are like, what on earth are you doing? And I said, the beauty of going on this tour and doing a private tour, and specifically with Brett as our guide, I felt like we got lucky having you as our guide, is you were the perfect combination of safety, of course, because we're we're not experts in ice climbing whatsoever. I've done a little bit of it, but this is our first big adventure of doing it. And 2, you have a wonderful sense of humor when you're out there. And 3 is that you kind of push both Dan and I, because the glacier, let's be honest, can be a very dangerous place. I mean, there are 100-foot or deeper crevasses everywhere. So you do need to watch where you're going, and you guys do a great job making sure that you're always going in a very safe place and watching where people are going. But what I loved about you is you also kind of pushed both Dan and I, specifically more me, because I had shorter legs, to jump over the crevasse, to kind of push your comfort zone a little bit. And, when Brett's asking you to kind of, lean over a very steep cliff that goes, there's rushing water down a Moulin that's flowing, like, I don't know how fast, but very fast. Your heart gets going and you're like, and he's like, you can do it. You're on the ropes and you are so obviously specialized with all of that you knew it was totally safe, but it was really fun to be pushed a little bit. And at one point there was, to get back, you're wandering out in this glacier and there's no trail and there's no sign that's like back to camp this way. Like, so you kind of have to hit the meander your way back. And at one point we got to this crevasse and it was a rather large open gap. And you're like, do you think you can jump that? And I was like, I don't really know if I could probably jump that, Brett. And you're like, I think you could. And so of course we tied up and got the ropes on, and you're like, well, I mean, if you fall down, the rope's going to catch you. And of course I was thinking, well, my face is going to slam into the ice, but your adrenaline gets going. And indeed, I was able to jump over this large gap in the ice safely. And I wonder, we were eventually, before we did that, we were throwing rocks down this crevasse and the rocks never stopped dropping. Like, it just kept going and going and going. And I have a video of that. I wonder if the microphone will pick it up, because
the ping pong echoey.
Yes. Yeah. Let's see if we can get this going. Can you hear this? Oh, wait. The more the better. The more the better. That's what you said. Hang on.
1, 2, 3.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I don't know if that came through very well.
I remember, we all grabbed a bunch of rocks and we were throwing in as much as possible.
Yes, and the rocks didn't stop dropping. It was like a Plinko game that never ended. It was like ping, ting, 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 ting.
I think that was after you jumped.
No, it was before I jumped. Thank you very much.
Was it before? Oh, upping the pucker factor.
Yes. And I was like, great. My legs are a little short here. We'll see if I can get going over that. But
what's funny too is there was an easy walk around right there. I don't know if I even told you guys.
Tell us that. No, you're like, this is the only way back to camp.
That's this it is, as we get to hang out, like you get to hang out with whoever your clients are for the day, and you get to know them, and it's like once you get that trust going and you get to know each other's humor and where you can really get a relationship, you go, all right, well, these guys signed up and they paid a lot of money. Well, it's time to show them a good time. And sometimes that is pushing the limit a little bit, showing people that they're more capable than they think they are. And
totally.
It's really fun, especially when you know there's a walk around, or at least I do. And I go, oh, nope, this is the only way. We got to do it.
And that's exactly what you said too, Brett. You're like, this is the only way back. You got to jump it. I was like,
this
all
is
right.
it.
And then your adrenaline just goes, and man, can your legs really jump further when you have
you cleared it by 4 feet.
I know. All of a sudden I had superhuman power at that second. But yeah, it was such an incredible day. Just and it went so fast. We were climbing, I think we were for about 6 hours, wasn't it? And it just flew by. It flew by. Yep. And sorry, go ahead. I keep interrupting.
Oh no, you're good. Go for it. You're good.
And when we got back to camp, we had to sadly say goodbye to you, and you departed for the night, but we stayed overnight. And part of that experience, I just want to share with the listeners, because if, the opportunity to spend the night on a very large chunk of ice is pretty cool, because the glacier makes noise all day and all night, by the way. There's a lot of cracking going on. And so you guys have this really, really cool setup where you've built these canvas glamping tents that are built up on some platforms, which are always moving. So you guys are always working on those platforms to make sure they're staying flat and even.
Yep.
And you have these like queen size foam mattresses that you sleep on. And the Glacier does at night. Once that sun goes down, it's a whole different temperature deal out there. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
It's chilly. And but you have like these amazing down jackets that are available, so you're not carrying that around all day. They give you a down jacket. You are greeted by the camp boss, and one was Baxter, and I'm forgetting the young man's name. He was a college student. He was fabulous.
Oh, Lucas.
Yes, Lucas was so great. So Lucas was working with you guys, Mica Guides, for the summer, and apparently you guys have quite a few college resumes that come flying in to work at your company, and you select a few of the best, and they live on the Glacier. So Lucas was out there. It was his first week out there as kind of the camp boss. He had got graduated to this position, and he had to spend the entire week on the Glacier. Is this correct? Is this how this works?
Yeah, so they'll do between 4 and 5 days. We try to make it short, But,
which to me it didn't seem short because
no, it's a long time in the cryosphere.
Yes, because one thing you don't realize is there's a lack of scent also out on the Glacier. There's really no smell. So when you get back to land and you start smelling flowers again, you're like, wow, this is totally different than the Glacier. And also, they're sleeping in tents. They're not sleeping in the glamping foam mattress areas.
Per usual, the staff are always, they have it a little rougher behind the scenes, but
they loved it. He was having the time of his life, and he was cooking us dinner that night, and it's not some rehydrated soup that they're serving you. We had wild caught Alaskan salmon, which like with some pesto pasta that was served for dinner. There was an appetizer like charcuterie board. There was a cocktail that was served, a campfire that was going. You had s'mores for dessert. It was so delightful and well done. And and then by time it's going, you're going to bed, but what we know during the summer in Alaska, right? The sun doesn't go down. And
right, yeah, depending on when you're there, it's light until you're trying to shut your eyes.
Yes, and that kind of plays with your circadian rhythm where you really don't feel like you're tired. I mean, you're climbing for 6 hours straight, and you're kind of still wired at 11 o'clock at night. But anyway, so Dan and I climbed into the foam mattress, and it was chilly, I would say, for the first like 20 minutes, but then after that it was perfectly warm the entire evening, and it was probably down in the 30s.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely drop close to the below freezing depending on when you're here, but I mean, we have definitely, so the company that Mica Guides has been around for about 20 years, and there's another side of the company called Exposure Alaska, which is our multi-day backpacking. It used to be sea kayaking, but we don't do that much anymore. So Exposure Alaska is like our multi-day trip option, or what used to be. And through that company, we dialed in a lot of the food, how to cook on a stove and make it look luxurious when you're backpacking. The details in the sleeping systems, and just a lot of order of operations. And we transferred all that exposure information over to the Glacier Camp. And so even though the Glacier Camp is brand new to us, we have years and years of experience to carry over into it. What's also neat is the Alpenglow luxury camping, which is our luxury camping not on the Glacier, just off the highway on our base property.
And those are also glamping tents too, right?
Yeah, they're canvas tents. Those are almost identical. Like the beds are the same beds that we have on the Glacier. So we took what we knew from Alpenglow and what Mandy had created, and we just transferred that to the Glacier. So we took a lot of experience and really just like transplanted it onto the Matanuska.
Yes. There's, if you're looking for a great adventure, you guys provide a lot of different opportunities and different ways to even just to glamp and look at the Glacier is stunning, because that would be the Alpine Glamp and Glow. Is that what you call it?
Alpenglow.
Alpenglow. And yes, and then also the opportunity to spend the night on the glacier was incredible. I mean, you wake up in the morning and it's just still. I mean, there's zero sound out there. It's so besides the running water, of course, but it's so still, so quiet, and you're greeted with hot coffee in the morning, and breakfast was scrambled eggs with reindeer sausage. That was incredible, with like this homemade Alaskan blueberry jam on sourdough toast. I'm like, this is not normal camping. It was so well done. Everything you guys did was so well done. And also what was really cool is at the end of the tour, part of the helicopter experience is you get a 30-minute helicopter tour of the entire glacier. So you get to see
you get a
all
scenic
27
flight.
miles. That's incredible. I mean, visually,
Yeah, that's why we couldn't come up with a different name than the Ultimate. It really is like the true, like, most well-rounded, full-fledged experience you can have with us. From the entire day on the glacier to getting to not only have the day adventuring, but a day or a night of relaxing and then a morning of flying around. It's really one package wonder.
And our helicopter pilot said a lot of people ask if they see bears out there, and he said in all, I don't know, 20 years or 14 years he's been flying the helicopter, he's never seen a single bear except the day before we were there. And he showed us pictures of a black bear that actually crossed the glacier. And when we were on, yes, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And when we were on our helicopter tour, we saw the black bear. He actually made it to the other side and was eating berries or doing whatever he was doing. It's probably berries. And what was fascinating about this is that the amount of hundreds of feet deep crevasses all over the place where he crossed, I don't know how he did it.
Animals are astounding. I've seen 2 new animals this year on the glacier, but yeah, a black bear, and then there's also a lynx on the glacier this year.
Really?
One of our interns got a picture of a lynx crossing the glacier this year, which was insane. I don't know why any animal would go out there, but yeah, we've seen moose out there. I've seen porcupine, bear. Not sure what they're doing, but they can do it.
I'm not
They got
either.
the claws.
That's what's fascinating, that they think they can cross that, and they certainly are able to do it. So I'm actually curious, Brett, on what brought you to Alaska and this glacier, because you've been there quite a few years now. Like, because you are originally, and this is where you are right now, you're in Indiana. Is this correct?
Illinois.
I'm sorry. Illinois. And going from Illinois to go live in Alaska is obviously the complete opposite. What was driving you to go to Alaska in the first place?
Well, Alaska was after Colorado. I was, the standard move for anyone who thinks they're adventurous from Illinois is to move to Colorado. That's like, the first mountains you hit, and you're like, oh my God, I did it. Because I played a lot of sports in high school and into college. And whenever I got out of college, I was like looking for something to fill that gap in my life. And I found rock climbing, and I was like, well, this is cool. And, really took off rock climbing. And all of a sudden I was like, Colorado, look at all the rock out there. And so then I got a job, moved out to Colorado, and I was just working a seasonal job, and one of the housekeepers who was at the same ranch, which is called the Home Ranch, had worked for Mica for about 7 years. And she was like, hey, you should try this out. And so just literally through the luck of meeting someone who had worked at Mica, I was introduced to it. And what's funny is my interview wasn't a standard interview. It was actually Christmas dinner at Don Ray, the owner of the company's house, with all of the senior guides. So everyone who was the most senior person at Mica the year prior was at this dinner at Don's house. And so I had to really dress it up. I was like, oh God, they're going to actually meet me.
You're like, there's going to be a few questions coming my way.
Yeah, they really didn't grill me that bad. I think that's why it went well. It was just a pretty casual hangout, and I got the job. And I was wanting to maybe become a guide. I thought that'd be a cool thing to do. And I had no idea that I was going to become hooked on glaciers. After my first season at Mica, I loved it so much that I went to work at Fox Glacier Guides down in New Zealand on the Fox Glacier.
Wow.
And that year I spent almost 270 days in crampons because I
Did
just
you
could not.
really?
Yeah, I wore crampons more than I wore like regular tennis shoes.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it was literally just one season of seeing the Matanuska every single day, watching the terminus change, and seeing the intricacies of it. That I was like, well, I think I want to do this, and just kept coming back. Don, the owner, he's a very kind person and really pushes people to become the best version of themselves. And every year you come back, there's some sort of purpose. There is a reason that you're there. So whether you're working on management skills, leadership skills, technical abilities, there's a reason that you come back every year, and it's to push you to become a better person. And for some reason, I'm still there, still growing. So it's been 7 summers, and I just can't get enough.
That is so incredible. And did you meet your future bride at Mica Guides?
No, so Kelsey and I, Kelsey was at the same, the home ranch in Colorado where I found out about Mica. And my first season at Mica, we separated, but I was too crazy about her, and I asked her to move to New Zealand with me. And so she moved to New Zealand. And then after that, she came up to Mica, and she's been working there for, it was her 5th year there this year.
Oh my gosh. And you guys are getting married in 2 short weeks. That's
2 weeks.
Cool.
Yep.
That is so cool. What is it about, the glacier that draws you in? What do you think is like, what is it that keeps you so intrigued?
I think it's the change that happens. Adaptation is the most key attribute that I could think of when it comes to working on a glacier. You have to constantly be ready for change. Things are shifting, not just physically, but like the environment around you is always changing. And it just really, you never have to walk the same trail. You never have to climb the same route. Every sort of training that I do with all my guides is different. And I can't teach them on a single situation because it's never the same. It all has to be based around decision making and their like outlook on what the day is going to be like and the terrain that they think they're going to travel in. And yeah, I think it's just that constant, I don't know the word for it, the constant
evolution of a glacier.
Yeah, the demand that you can't do anything the same. We're creatures of habit, right? And you have certain habits that drive your day. You get up, you make coffee, you have breakfast, you get ready for work, and then usually work can be very constant and similar. But a day on the glacier can be similar, but there's subtle differences every single day. And then those little differences make it never gets old. You never get tired of it.
I bet not, because it was really like a life-changing experience to be out there. And
you don't have to fake the fun. Like with you guys, it was super fun. Like every single trip, some clients aren't as fun. Let's be real. Some people come to the glacier and you're like, are you having fun? Is this cool? But most clients, you connect with them and you just really get to share a unique experience. And that is one of the best parts of guiding out there.
Yeah, it truly is something else. And I had said, you guys run such a well-organized guiding service and everybody is so kind and, and everybody's working, even if both Baxter and Lucas that were, at the camp, they're working all day long and making sure things are, running right and that our guests are having great experience. And Lucas was sharing that part of the experience with interns that come to work with you is that they have to spend the night, I think, out somewhere in the wilderness where they have to camp overnight or do a lot of like the survival skills type stuff that he said he's just learned a ton over the summer. Is that part of the initiation to working there?
Yeah. So we call it Grit Week, And the initial week that folks, the interns or the first years who sign up, whether they're on the logistics team or the apprentice guides, they go through Grit Week, which is an organized week of teaching them the ways of the community and how we operate as a family, and then also parts of the company. But a lot of it is really just pushing them physically and mentally to see that they can handle a summer of working hard. One of the things that I think he was mentioning was Don, the owner, really wanted to surprise them with an overnight. You know, he told them they're going for a casual day hike on this property near our base, and all of a sudden he's like, well, looks like we can't get out. I guess we're going to have to stay for the night. And, you know, obviously they're not that far in, but they realize, like, crap, we're sleeping out here.
Yep.
And so we brought them some food, just, you know, backpacking meals, and they had a tarp and a couple of blankets, like sleeping bags, to share. But it was really just a night of resilience and learning that sometimes it sucks, but you get through it. Like, you're not going to die just sleeping outside for a night. And just a couple things like that throughout the week to make them realize that they should be ready for anything around here. You got to be willing and ready to do anything for the job.
The Minnesota Historical Society. A message for you. Come visit historic Fort Snelling, Minnesota's first national historic landmark, a place where waters, people, and ideas have come together for thousands of years. Hear many stories told by many voices and learn more about how lives and history intersect in ways that are stirring, powerful, complex, and still relevant today. Whether revisiting your favorite parts of history or learning something new, it's waiting for you at Historic Fort Snelling. Learn more at mnhs.org/Fort Snelling.
Hi there, Ron Schara here for Star Bank. If you're putting your money into mega banks down the street, who knows where that money's being used? Bank locally. Keep your money local with a community bank that actually cares about you, your family, your business, and your goals. Check out the bank we use at Minnesota Bound. Try Minnesota's own Star Bank. You can find them online at starbank.net. When you call Star Bank, you actually hear a real living person answering the phone. Star Bank has 10 convenient locations around Minnesota to serve you and all the mobile banking products that you need to manage your money. Check out all that Star Bank has to offer at starbank.net.
Remember, FDIC an equal housing lender.
It's time to plan your fall hunt in North Dakota. Get this, with an estimated 3.4 million breeding ducks, North Dakota's central region is prime habitat for hunting waterfowl. In fact, right now, the state's breeding duck index sits 38% above the long-term average, and the water's up too. The spring water index is up 616% over 2021. That's a good thing. Now, when you consider that North Dakota has approximately 700,000 acres of private land open to public walk-in hunting, guess what? You've got an outdoor oasis. For the latest information about public hunting lands and private land open to sportsmen and women, visit North Dakota Game and Fish Department. Bag your limit this fall in North Dakota. Visit legendarynd.com.
You know, it speaks, I think, so highly of the organization is you have a lot of return guides that come back, and it takes a long time to become a senior glacier guide as well. Like, it's a very serious job, but you get so many return guides. It seems like even when we're talking to Baxter, I mean, he's been there quite a few years too, and he loves it. And again, when it's their turn to be on the glacier for an entire week, you know, Dan and I did a 24-hour stint on the glacier and sleeping in the cold, and we loved it. But when you're out there for a week, you have no cell service. I mean, obviously there's a radio for emergency purposes, but it's not like you have any connection to, you know, what else is going on in the world if you're working out there for a week. So it takes a special, you know, person to be able to handle that and really enjoy it. And everybody there just loves it. And you can see that. And I think that's what makes the experience even more enjoyable for those of us that are just tapping into your world for 24 hours is you can see the passion behind everybody and that they're so happy.
Yeah, Lucas really took a loving to the glacier camp.
He did.
A lot of the LTs really enjoyed it, but Lucas, like, he loved it out there.
He was
And because it's hard, like, it's cold, everything is wet.
Yes.
It's not easy waking up, doing marine work, moving tents, cooking, flipping tents, and then entertaining all night. And that's why we try to keep it to a certain amount of time. It's not like you're just camping on the glacier, but he saw it, he get it, or he really got it. Like, when you're out on the glacier, there's just this energy that you got to absorb of like, wow, I am sleeping and living on a glacier.
Yes. So cool. And the stories he has to tell when he goes back to college will be something else for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I do want to make sure just to touch on, because you talked about a little bit the logistics side of the company, and I got to make sure that my logistics team gets this like recognition, because
yes,
the guides they take out the trips, right? They're the ones taking the pictures. They're the ones getting to do all the cool stuff. But the logistics crew at Mica is truly what keeps the machine running. Without the scheduling, because it's a diverse. So we get paid salary at Mica, which for guiding is unheard of. You get paid by the day or by the trip for guiding.
Mm-hmm.
So when you sign up at Mica, once you come back your second year after your internship, you get paid salary, which means every day that you're scheduled, you're getting paid. And some days you do camp support. Some days you're running ice climbs, advanced treks for a week straight, or, you never really know what you're going to do. And the magic of it comes from the scheduling and the organization of who's doing what, who's in charge of who, and how are they going to do that thing that they're doing. And, I've worked for a lot of different companies that they have managers, they manage and keep people working, but we fine tune everything at Mica, almost a little too much, but boy, do we get some stuff done.
Yeah, you do. No, it shows too. Like the adventure that you have is so seamless from start to finish to the very end of it. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, Kelsey's she's incredible when it comes to heli logistics and the entire heli operations. She has it pinned to the minute because, helis aren't cheap. You got to make sure that when that thing's running, they're running for a reason. And you can't be late. Like, you can't just be late for a helicopter pickup. So yeah, there's a lot of attention in the details, and we've got between Kelsey Shanklin, so my soon-to-be wife, and then Alex Sitka, he's our the manager at Mica, he's our brain. He's like the CFO. He keeps track of everything for us, data and number wise.
Yeah, it's a big organization, a well-run organization. One other thing too, I want there's a really cool adventure that you guys do that is for people who have probably way more adventurous than me, is the cave diving that you offer.
Well, we don't do the cave diving. So, kind of long story short, one of our long-term customers loves diving, and she got Mark, the heli pilot, hooked on diving. Well, he loves diving, but Anne-Marie got Mark into cold water diving, so dry suit certification. And so they went diving 2 years ago out on the glacier in a big blue pool. It was insane. And then last winter, she got me and Kelsey into dry suit diving. And now we go out diving with. Oh, yeah. And now it's evolved even farther. So Dive Alaska has hooked up with Mark, the owner and operator of Sheep Mountain Air, to take out folks diving on the glacier.
Yeah. So we need to explain what this is to people that don't understand or haven't been on a glacier. So the glacier has like glacier pools, many of which seem shallow, right? Like shallowish. But there's a few out there that must be like a really deep crevasse, but it's completely filled in with water. So
so those
diving down into the ice.
Yes, the moulins that we were talking about, those will fill up. Say the drainage constricts or a bunch of moraine plugs it up, it just refreezes. But when those drainage systems are plugged up, or say it hasn't drilled a hole yet and there's a low point, you'll just get a superglacial lake, a pool on top of the glacier. And they are the most incredible blue color in existence. But yeah, sometimes you'll have this big blue pool and all of a sudden you'll see a tunnel. And that tunnel is an old Mulan, or one that's not active right now. And those can be hundreds and hundreds of feet, if not miles long.
I mean, is that scary at any minute when you're diving down into that cave that's pretty serious diving.
Oh yeah. I have not gone into a Mulan. That's a whole nother certification.
Oh,
So you have to
okay.
be a technical cave diver. So you have to be a cold water technical cave diver to be able to dive
how many
it.
of those are out there? 3?
I don't know. There's a big cold water diving scene in Alaska. There's some hardcore people up there.
I bet. I'm curious if there's any here in Minnesota. I mean, we got a lot of cold water at certain times of the year, but
That's true.
Yeah. When we were flying over that, and is it Brian? Is that his name? Who's the helicopter pilot?
Mark.
Mark. I'm sorry. I'm getting names wrong everywhere today. Mark, when he said, yeah, we dived down into that. I literally looked at him. I was like, what?
What?
Crazy. That's like insane. So, again, one more thing that you can do on a glacier that who thought would be even a possibility, but.
Oh yeah.
No,
well, we stick to the surface activities. There's plenty to do: ice climbing, adventuring, rappelling, all that stuff.
For sure. And one last thing that I forgot to mention that was really cool part of the glacier is the fact that, 2 things. One is all of your water that you drink and all of the water that the camp uses comes right from the glacier because it's basically the cleanest. I mean, you pay a lot of money in a store if you want to drink glacier water. And it's readily available there. So you bring your own little container and fill it up just right off the glacier. You try to avoid the algae, of course. It's probably not the best to consume that. And also, your organization is also very much about conservation of the glacier as far as making sure it's kind of a leave no trace organization. It's not you're removing everything off that glacier from trash to human waste to everything, right?
We do let people pee out there. There's enough of a drainage that's not an issue, but any human waste gets flown out. And I was in charge of breaking down camp this year, and I'm not out there as much as the rest of the staff, like Lucas and some of the guides that are out there leading the Heli Explorer trips. And I'm walking around and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to go clean up all the micro trash that was left behind. And I walked all around the glacier camp, and there was maybe 2 pieces of string. And I was just so impressed with how much care people, not even just our guides, but the clients who came out, nobody littered. No one really made a mess of the place. And it's cool to see that kind of respect for a natural environment.
For sure. That's as important as, we try to do that everywhere we go if you're a good steward of the land.
Yeah.
But that's, really cool to see that you guys, care as much as everybody else does. And, it's a big camp that you fly in with the mattresses and the canvas tents and all that. So it's an undertaking, but to have it also clean and that everybody who visits is doing the same is really cool.
Oh yeah.
Well, Brett, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. I was excited to have you on to share the adventure and how cool it is, and it's a life-changing adventure, and the wonderful work that you do on bringing people out and really educating. You have so much knowledge, of course, about the glacier and all the unique aspects of it that you share with people. So it's as much educational as it is an adrenaline rush, for sure.
Right on. That's why, that's the goal.
Yes. So share with our listeners where they can sign up to do this or learn more about it. I said micaguides.com. Are you guys on Instagram, Facebook? Where are you at?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Micaguides.com has everything from our day trips, walk-on icefall treks to, like we're talking about, the ultimate overnight experience. So you can find that there. We've got some videos on YouTube. But Instagram, Mica Guides, and Facebook, we've got a whole page. Just look up Mica Guides. You'll find us. #1 glacier guiding company in all of Alaska.
I love it.
I like to think.
Yes, for sure. 100% you are. I also, the article I wrote about Mica Guides and our experience, Dan and our experience, is coming out in Artful Living magazine this winter as well. So
excited to see it.
Read about there. And David, the photographer, was obviously he was climbing or lowering himself deep into crevasses to get some really cool pictures. So the imagery was incredible. So we're excited to share that too.
I'm excited to see it. David, he's got a good eye for the glacier. He's been doing it for a while.
He does. Thank you, Brett, once again for joining the podcast. And also a special thanks to our sponsors, Minnesota Propane Association, Hewitt Docks, Connecticut, Star Bank, Minnesota Historical Society, North Dakota Tourism, and Grain Belts. Also, last but not least, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Absolutely. I'm about to go play with my nieces and nephews outside right now.
Love it.